How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another episode of
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
You know, one of these days you're going to let me say that.
You have said it before.
Fair point. Now, we are going to be doing...
I have a problem.
What?
I have a problem with her.
How could you possibly have a problem with the superhero?
She is not showing enough skin.
You know, not every Golden Age female superhero is to play into your fantasies.
And why the hell not?
Anyways, we're reviewing this character because asked to see Miss America, and as I wasn't sure which one he wanted to see, we decided to do both of them. We did the last one previously, and now we're doing the other one this time. We are doing Miss America from Marvel Comics. Well, at the time, it was Timely Comic Books.
What made her more popular than other female Golden Age?
Now, you see, that's actually a decent question. There are a lot of female superheroes that showed up and were more of a flash in the pan, or were just here for so much of a previous time they barely made a blip on the radar. What made this one stand out more is this was right after the war. Now, she wasn't the first powerhouse, wasn't the first patriotic superhero, wasn't even the first one to name Miss America, but she came out at such a unique time after the war where they were introducing a lot of female characters all at one time. Now, they say it was to bring in female readers because most of the females were reading romance stories, and oh God, I can't even begin to name all the titles of the romance comics that were out at the time. I could spend the next 20 minutes just reading off titles and probably not even get to half of them. When she came out, though, I do believe that it was to bring in the male readers because they were hot.
Oh, yes, they were.
Really?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you've watched my Lost Heroes of the Golden Age comics, and even some of just of my superhero spotlights, the female characters are not hard on the eyes.
Preach, brother.
Really? Every time we do females.
That's not my problem, it's yours.
It's kind of your problem. Anyways, Miss America may not show as much skin as some of the other females that have appeared in the Golden Age. Doesn't mean that she's not hot. So, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about her. She did get her own comic book, but the format for it was kind of weird. She did pop up every now and then. I mean, after the Golden Age, she did pop up every now and again. She was in the Invaders comic. Anything that covers World War II, she was brought up in. And she actually had an appearance in the 1990 Spider-Man cartoon, The Six Lost Heroes. And that was... if you've seen the episode, that was the stupidest origin story. And the funny thing is, the heroes that they talked about, I've mentioned a lot of them in my countdown video. Golden Age, top 10 20 Golden Age characters in Marvel Comics, which I did some years ago. But the origin of the Spider-Man comic was extremely stupid. So, let's go ahead and cover Miss America, a little bit about her first. We'll cover her first appearance and her powers. So let's get into this. Miss America, Madeline Joyce, first appeared in Marvel Mystery Comics number 49 in 1943, created by Otto Binder and published by Timely. I believe they were still Timely at that time. What's interesting about being created by Otto Binder is he was big with Fawcett comic books with the creation of Captain Marvel and all them. Miss America, and we'll cover the first issue, had a wide variety of powers, and some of them were retconned through her time. What I think is interesting is she was originally given X-ray power, or X-ray vision, but later it would be retconned because she would be wearing glasses, and I thought that was weird. If you had X-ray glasses, X-ray vision, why would you need glasses? Miss America was the third female character to be given her own comic book. The first two would be Wonder Woman and Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. The weird thing about the Miss America comic is after the first issue, they turned it into a magazine, and I am having just the most difficult time in the world trying to find issues of the magazines. I have found plenty of covers. I just can't find the magazine itself. I have found many references and descriptions of the comic. Some of the stories in the magazines were written by Bill Finger, which, if you know Batman, Bill Finger was one of the creators of Batman. I know Bob Kane throws his name on everything, but Bill Finger was responsible for most of the stuff that makes Batman what he is. The comic books would still have Miss America fighting crime, but it wouldn't be world-ending threats that you would normally see the Avengers fight. She'd fight more street-level thugs, petty criminals, bank robbers. Occasionally she would go up against Axis powers, but as the comic book would progress more, they would focus more on teen romance, and would also have the introduction of Patsy Walker, who I believe would later become Hellcat in the comics, but that's not who she was back then. It was more of a comic book that you would see back then, like with, Millie the Model, or Archie Comics, where the main focus became the teen romance and not the superhero. And as time would progress, the comic book would actually change to Patsy Walker in Miss America or featuring Miss America. Now, her comic, which would turn into a magazine, would last 126 issues, but the numbering of the comics got a little complicated. Miss America would subsequently appear in a number of comics in the modern age that would normally have to do with World War II in some way. She was also part of the All-Winter Squadron, the Liberty Legion, and the Invaders, but I think her time in the Invaders were retconned. Actually, I was incorrect. She actually was a part of the Invaders. This is a comic book that took place in the 70s based on the World War II era, so they could do whatever they want with that. And the Liberty Legion was actually formed in the Invaders comic. So, yeah, she's part of the Invaders, and she was part of the Liberty Legion. Now, the All-Winter Squadron did actually come out a lot earlier, around the 50s, I believe. Now, the ending of Miss America, even though she's appeared sporadically in the comic book since then, it's a weird thing. She ends up marrying the Wizard, and they end up having a child, but the child is like a nuclear reactor based on the way that Miss America got her powers, and we'll go over that when we cover the first issue. And they also tried to hint that Miss America had children that she gave birth to on Wonder Gore Mountain. hinting that they were the parents of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, but that is a kettle of fish I really don't feel like unpacking right now. Their origin is just so convoluted and retconned, it could take a number of videos to unpack that whole thing. So we're not going to get into that. Let's go ahead and cover the first issue so you can see how she got her powers and get a little better idea of who she is. Okay, the opening page, Miss America. Who is Miss America? What strange majestic power guides her to such magnificent heights and feats of strength? How can one girl, young, slim, beautiful, really? You had to say those things. Battle the evil forces that oppress our war-torn world today. The brilliant experiment leads to the daring adventures of Miss America. In Scourge of the Nazis. I mean, this is what the voice usually says about the women, but that's in the description. Young, slim, and beautiful. Okay, as we open up, the text box here is pretty important to setting up who we have and where they're going. Introducing Madeline Joyce, teenage winsome ward of James Bennett, the radio tycoon. Madeline's sunny disposition and habit of championing the cause of the little fella are inherent from her father, James Bennett, world-traveling partner. Madeline and her gardener, James Bennett, are leaving their Plantainio, Long Island home to visit the electric experimental station sponsored by Bennett to devise a method of lessening man's burden by harnessing the nature's electrical energies. The way it's put in the corner there makes the text box a little difficult to read. And then these two guys who are working at the gate mention how she's the sweetest and kindest person I know. As they're traveling to the station, Madeline sees a boy with a crutch being threatened. And the guy who we were going to call the bully says, I'll teach you to sell your papers I'll teach you to sell your papers on this corner. This corner. Okay. So she runs out of the car, telling him to stop the car. I hope she didn't just jump out of a moving vehicle. And she tells them that they're bullies and to be on their way. And then they say, all right, I'll let him be. All right, I'll get the crybaby back. Or give the crybaby his corner back. As she goes into the car, the uncle talks about how she likes helping people that, you're exactly like your father, Madeline, always helping the underdog. Now, they travel to the laboratory, and this is a big setup. I mean, this is going to be a warehouse. So he talks about how he was working on this station, and come on, man, you don't mean to tell me that this contraption defies gravity and gives you the power to fly. And he goes into an explanation about how he was working through in the storm, got smoted. He actually says a force smote me. He said he was smote. And it has actually given him fantastic powers. His brain has acquired remarkable perception. His eyes could pierce solids. Alarmed, I backed off the catwalk and floated in the air. I tried to reach the floor, and I did, at will. I think you need a vacation. Overworked. So he talks about the powers that he received from this machine, and Madeline, she gets an idea. She sees that there's a storm and wonders if she could get these magnificent powers, that she would be able to help people. So she goes into the lab, and the doctor notices that someone's there. she gets zapped by a ray, and suddenly he just thinks that she's dead. Madeline, how can I face James Bennett after this? This is a result of the experience beyond my control. The machine must be destroyed. So he blows up the entire laboratory with him and her in it. Now she gets tossed free of the explosion. Oh my God, what if she actually wasn't dead? That means you would have killed her with the explosion. Okay. And then it says 1 week later, Madeline Joyce becomes her adventurous career as Miss America. Now, she seems to be driving into town, and she notices that an old man is about to get hit by a truck. No, she doesn't actually change to her superhuman form. She drives by him and snatches him out of the path of the truck while crashing her car into a light pole. Without a thought for her own safety, Madeline swerves her car dangerously to save the dazed old man. Now, she is remarking how the truck didn't even slow down and he didn't even see it. And this is the weirdest exposition ever. The guy's wife comes out and says, I was looking out the window when you saved him. And then she starts talking about her son for some reason. Our son was hurt at the defense plant. He's not been the same. He keeps mumbling of queer doings at the plant. Oh my God. First of all, this was completely an unprompted situation. She didn't ask about the son. And then she said queer doings. Oh, that's definitely the 40s. You can't make a statement like that today. And she decides that she's going to go visit the defense plant. Now, she goes in there so quickly that people don't even see her going by. And then we see a guy in overalls. There's the foreman. I'll make it look like an accident. And he's getting ready to pour molten steel. Is that molten? Yeah, molten steel on the guy. And then we see her saying, first I'll push him gently out of the way of the molten steel. I hope you push him more than gently because there's going to be a splash factor. I hope you give him a good distance. And then she says, now to find out about this. She goes over there and kicks the killer in the back of the head, and it's to be continued. Don't miss the next thrilling chapter. Can Miss America battle overpowering odds to defeat the diabolical plans to wreck the defense plant? Continued next month. Now, I'm going over the first appearance, so I'll tell you what happened in the next appearance. Now, the start of the next issue, I wasn't going to give anything directly from it, but this actually really helps with her powers. A gentle slip of a girl. Oh my God, a gentle slip of a girl. Eager to help the poor and oppressed, is gifted with 4 strange powers to help her fight great battle against all evil. The power to fly, the strength of 1,000 men, X-ray vision, the wisdom of ages, a new champion of right against might flashes across the darkened skies of troubled universe. Read the amazing tale of Madeline Joyce as Miss America. So this gives you a pretty good description of her powers. I knew about the flight and the strength, but I had no idea about the X-ray vision and the wisdom. That's a new one to me. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little bit of something about this Miss America. I have a few more requests that I need to do. And if you have a request, you can go ahead and send that in. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.